on. There we go. Hello everybody, welcome to another Chessbait Drivecast. I am recording like 3 months in advance, as I always am. And today we got another guest, another passenger, because that's what I want to do. This is season 3, we got to bring more passengers in. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, people. I'm ShuKai. That's what I go by.
Alright, so if you guys seen my Road to 9 series on my original channel, you guys have seen ShuKai plenty of times. He's been around with us, you know. You guys all know him, you guys love him. Let's, you know, the Zuck man, let's move on. We didn't really have a topic at hand. I mean, a lot of podcasts never start with a big topic to start with, but you know, considering it's you, and considering everyone on my Discord server, which always link to it in the description below if you want to join. Considering that you're known as the person who likes to chase, you know, big storms, lightning storms, I thought, you know what? Let's talk about that. Considering you probably have a lot of experience with that, right?
I certainly do. I'm doing it for about 3 years now.
So I gotta ask, what about storms interests you so much?
I don't know, they're so,
What?
It's kind of, you never know what one will bring. They're all different and unique.
Are you cutting out, or is my internet just bad?
Probably the internet.
It could be. But I'm guessing you were talking about how, like, unpredictable the storms can be sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as a person who's lived in all kinds of weather before, I could personally say, like, rain is a little underrated, especially like windy storms and all that. Like,
Yeah, I can concur with that. People, you're talking like fall, like cool rain.
oh, dude, cool rain's the best.
Big lines that move through.
Honestly, like, as a person,
I would say those are underrated, though.
As a person who was born in the summer's overrated, dude. Like, we get it, like, during the summer, you know, you have summer vacation and you get to go to pool parties and hang with your bros and all that, but like, it's also the time when mosquitoes are everywhere, bees are everywhere. You can get seasonal allergies, especially around the late spring to early summertime.
Yeah, it makes, because most of the weather we get here is in fact in the summer, so it makes the daytime storms much worse with mosquitoes, and this year a crap ton of cicadas.
Oh, dude, the cicada.
Pretty much muted it.
Dude, I remember, I've been to Korea a couple times to meet my family. Dude, every time I go there, during the day, it's nothing but cicadas. Like, you think cicadas in America are bad, but then, like, in Asian countries, during the day, all you can hear is cicadas. You open the window, and, like, you can't take 5 steps without hearing a cicada chirping. Honestly, like, besides the few big, like, the 2 big storms that we've had, I feel like you're kind of unfortunate that you live in a place where storms don't really happen all too often.
Yeah, that's what makes them more exciting. It's not like a daily thing, you know, like living down south.
Dude, living down south must be terrible. Like, storms are great.
So much rain.
I mean, I don't mind the rain. It's just,
Hurricane.
yeah, it's the hurricanes, dude. The high-speed winds, they're gonna tear apart your house. It's honestly, it's kind of scary to think that the house that you've been living in for several years, and like the thing that you consider like safe, and you know, nobody can take it down, but like weather just happens to find a way to take it down.
Yeah, and that's becoming more and more of a problem.
Oh, yeah.
People who live on the coast, I know beaches are nice and stuff, but you really want to run the risk of having everything you know just obliterated, and it can happen to you multiple times in a year.
And the interesting thing is that climate change and all that stuff happens, and like before anyone asks, like I don't care what anyone says, climate change is a thing. I'm not saying that's leading to the end of the world or whatever. Like, the science literally proves that the world gets hotter every year. Like, you can't deny the facts. But
yeah, that's very true. It is getting hotter.
But like, even if I don't claim that climate change causes, you know, the Earth to have bigger storms and all that, like, logically, if you think about it, you can still say, like, if you learn in like chemistry or physics that like heat is energy, and since the world is heating up, there's more energy that's within the atmosphere, and that energy is being turned into all these really crazy weather events, more intense tornadoes, more intense wildfires, more intense hurricanes and such.
Wildfire is a big one. The past 3 years have all set new records.
It's crazy.
It's just getting worse and worse.
I mean,
and I'm not gonna place any bets, but people living in the Southwest are in big trouble.
I mean, they're already running out of fresh drinking water because they're using it up, especially during the pandemic. And considering that, like, the entire Southwest built their cities based on, what is it called, deserts and such, I don't know. I kind of just blame it on them. Like, what is it? Where I live in Michigan, like, it's nothing but lakes. So, you know, you always have fresh water just lying around. You don't just build a city on a desert. That's gonna, honestly, that's a disaster.
And another problem is the east. It's too wet. It's always flooding. So here's my, like, throw out idea. Why don't you just transfer the water from the flooded states down to the Southwest, which needs water?
The problem with that is that you would need a pipeline that goes throughout the entire country, and even if you did do that, you would also need to clean the water, which cleaning water and make it clean enough to drink is already a hassle within itself. Like, it is not simple to just it's not as easy to it's not as cheap and easy to like clean water, just because, like, first of all, you got to carry it from one coast to the other, which the U.S. is already, like, what is it, easily top 10 of the most widest countries in the world, so that's going to be a problem. And
yeah, it is.
And like,
hassle there.
Yeah, and if you do pump all that water, then it's also going to be super difficult to oh crap, why I hate traffic. It's just going to be super difficult to sanitize it all and make sure it stays clean.
Exactly.
I don't know.
The only beef I have with things against the idea is that we have the U.S. has pipelines of oil that go across. I don't know which one it was, but it goes from the Dakotas all the way down to the coast.
Yeah, it goes from
oil. Why don't we do it with water?
People just don't think water is as valuable a resource it is. They think oil is valuable just because that's what makes our machines run. But, like, water is just as important. Water is okay. Everyone in the audience laughed. Okay, good to know. But water is what causes water. Obviously, it's like the basis of all life, and you learn that in biology. But it's also a really common tool just used in everyday science. Like, you need water to cool stuff down, because water is really good at cooling stuff down. But it's also it's also really good at boiling and insulating heat. So you kind of need it for a lot of things. It's good for cleaning. It's good for just general. It's just good for general use. Like, it's a reason why, like, when
Yeah. The difference we get in oil is like a big want, and it helps us a lot. But is it really like a life or death thing? Like water is. You need water.
Like,
if you don't have water, it's a problem.
You know how they say, like, you can go 3 days without water? Like, let's be real here. The world could probably go like 3 years without oil. Like, maybe after
you don't need oil as much as we need water.
Like, maybe after 3 years, like, some of the electronics that we use might become a bit of a hindrance, and, like, because we use oil for, like, electricity and such, it might become a problem. But 3 years is still a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have water, you're dead. You need it to cook, you need it to drink, you need it just to do everyday stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, you mentioned the fire, the what's it called, the wildfires before, and yeah, that just helped me remember that I completely forgot that every year they're setting new records on how bad the wildfires are.
Yep.
And,
Out west, it's really bad.
And it doesn't even help that the whatchamacallit, all the stupid gender reveal parties are making the wildfires worse.
Yeah, it's just simple things like that. Power lines, parties, cookouts, whatever. People need to take wildfires way more seriously, because
it's like, at least try to do it.
You could have cooking hot dogs, and it could burn down entire towns.
Yeah, because all the bushes in that area are so easy to burn that like you can literally you could probably just get a magnifying glass and manage to start a wildfire.
Yeah, that's an area where you could literally create a wildfire with like friction.
Did you hear that people in like California, I think it's California, it might be Nevada, but in one of those states, a bunch of people are being charged with sabotaging firefighters.
Sabotaging firefighters.
Yeah, so basically what's going on is that the firefighters, obviously when there's a wildfire, they gotta go take care of it, right? They gotta go in, try to take it out.
Yeah.
But the problem is, sometimes, it doesn't have to be necessarily a wildfire. It could also just be like a regular building fire. What happens really often is that some of the firefighters go in, and certain citizens, not even citizens, just people. Certain people purposely go into the building and like try to make the fire worse, either like behind the firefighters or like purposely try to trap them inside buildings.
That is just super dumb.
But like I'm like allegedly they're doing that on purpose and everything. Like, what are you gaining out of this?
I guess they just want to burn down the West Coast.
I mean, like I understand wanting to burn stuff down. Like I have an entire box of homework that I've been saving up since high school that once I graduate college I want to burn, because it'd be really funny to see all of that paper burn in one giant fire. But I'm not gonna try to kill a bunch of people in the process. Like, come on, dude, that's really messed up.
Exactly.
Like, how would you
don't really need to go to that extra trouble.
Like, how would you like it if someone did that to you?
Yeah, that's what you can say for a lot of things.
Yeah, that's the problem. The thing is, because nobody ever thinks about like what you're supposed to do, and like everybody's so focused on the now. Like the pandemic's happening now. We're having a global epidemic. We're having a health crisis. We're all dying. Because of that, nobody's ever thinking about like what's actually going to happen in like 5 years. People, economists are worried about because of COVID. We're at a really like unstable place where like we can have like mega inflation happen in like less than a year because we're giving around so much money.
I mean, it takes a very long, like trees, for example. They're cutting down entire forests. Not only does that release a ton of crap into the air, the trees that were there that could get rid of that aren't there anymore.
Like the worst part is like regular like tree like paper companies, like they're smart because like they know to like replant trees and all that. Like you know that's true, right? Because
there are logging companies.
Yeah, because like the logging
taking down huge sections of forest and not doing anything, just turn it into farmland.
The farmers are the worst part, because like they, like you said, because they know that farmland is so profitable and they need food and you need to increase the agricultural sector to feed the population. Like, we get that, but at the same time, like it's just so hard to think. It's just sort of focus on that because we're so focused on the people we have now, we can't, like, we possibly might not have people for tomorrow or next year or the next decade or so.
Yeah, we need to think ahead. That's...
And the kind of messed up part is, like, because the world population is getting so much older, we're focusing so much on the older generation, and like we get it, even though they're old, even though they deserve their retirement, they should live the rest of their lives in peace. But like, there's also a lot of old people that are just kind of struggling to like just stay even just alive, and
Yeah.
it's like I feel bad for saying this, but like the more that we try to like keep the entire population as high as it possibly can, I feel like the more likely that the population is just going to drop harder.
Exactly.
Just because like we're focusing so much effort on, we're focusing so much effort on the older half of all the older generations, that those people are the ones that essentially caused the world to become as it is today. And obviously, our generation, we're not doing any better, but at the very least we're trying to take tiny steps to try to change some of that. But the problem is, because the older generations, they have their ways, and we're basically just being not brainwashed, but we're essentially being wired to follow in their footsteps by burning more fossil fuels, consuming more energy, wasting so much plastic, so that we become even richer and become more efficient. Like, it's kind of messed up.
Yeah, plastic is just. I wonder how things would be if plastic had never been invented.
Yeah, I made a for everyone in the audience. ShuKai, if you want to listen to this too, then by all means go ahead. But I actually made a Drivecast on recycling last season. I'm recording this months in advance, as I always say. So to ShuKai, yeah, it should already up. It should already be out for you. I think it came out like last week. For us, it could be the week before. I kind of just lost track of time.
Yeah.
It was like recycling is weird or something like that. And the reason it was labeled that is because recycling genuinely is weird. Like, people would rather just remake plastic than having to continue making new plastic instead of using old ones and like reusing or recycling them. Which, like, dude, that's so bad. Like, I don't think most people realize like how damaging just plastic is to the environment just as a whole.
Yeah, there are entire, small islands of plastic on the ocean. That is a problem.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's just super messed up how it's turning out, that we're kind of just driving straight into a ditch. We're essentially about to kill our own planet, and we're not going to do anything about it because nobody seems to care.
I feel like as the years go by, people will care more, but
it's going to, by that point,
I don't think we'll do it in time.
And it's going to be too late too, which is the saddest part. Oh well, I feel like we kind of ended on a bad note, a little too depressing of a note. But I mean, you gotta just kind of get the message out there, and honestly, this is probably the best way to get the message out, considering no one's gonna listen if you just try to go all happy and go lucky, because people talk about like sustainable and like recycling stuff, but none of the companies actually follow through on that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you, ShuKai, for coming. Thank you for being part of the Drivecast. I think I made your volume too high, so people might not be able to hear me as well as they do ShuKai, but that doesn't matter. That's just a issue that I have with still figuring out with guests. Anyways, yeah, thank you for coming. Everybody, please subscribe. If ShuKai does want any... Do you want any socials or anything? I'm guessing no.
No.
Okay. I won't put it in the description below, but if anything changes, it will be down there. Join the Discord, because that's how you get onto these Drivecasts, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.